What is up, you warriors? I want to start off this video by saying protect yourself. No. Okay, stop. It's time to get serial. I think this video is long overdue. It's a very important video to make because I get hundreds of messages from minors on how to deal with predators. Every situation is different, and I want to go through some of the difficulties and questions one may have when speaking up. It takes a tremendous amount of courage when there is so much fear. Do it anyway. It's not going to be easy. That is why I want to help you in everything I know about this. But I'm going to miss a lot. There is so much to talk about regarding this topic. There are so many conceivable situations and how predators manipulate and victimize their victims and how the victims can go forth and reporting them and dealing with all the difficulties associated with reporting them. So if you have any questions or concerns, just please comment it. I get so many messages a day about this, and I just want to go through as much as I can think of. But I'm gonna miss a lot. How parents react, how police react, and trial and non-trial, and it's just so much to it. Through my years, I've dealt with predators themselves, their victims, the victims' parents. I've dealt with police and prosecutors involved in child predator cases in multiple jurisdictions. I've been in court on the stand testifying against a predator, so I'm familiar with the whole process from almost every angle. There are so many different stages that I want to go through in regards to where you're at with talking to a predator, if it's well in the past or if it's in present. But I first want to talk about prevention to save yourself now so you won't have to be saved at all in the future. I've been talking to predators for years online, me posing as a minor. I know how they operate. And yeah, I'm going to laugh a little bit during this, but it's not because I think it's funny. It's that it's just, I'm not going to have to explain myself. That is one thing. When you're dealing with reporting predators, you just stop caring so much what people think, and don't make apologies. I've been talking to predators, me posing as a minor, for years now. I know how they operate. They thrive on trust. If they have your trust, they will control you, and you won't even realize it. They will say they care about you, how you're the best, how you can tell me anything, I'm always here for you, etc. They will act like your best friend, and it will feel very real. It's a complete illusion. Do not listen to them. Listen to me. Now, very rarely, probably 3 times in my life, in dealing with this YouTube channel and some of the comments I read and messages that I receive, I've had read some messages of people saying that, hey, I'm a minor and I'm in love with this guy I met online who is however many years old, who's an adult, and we're in love, and there's nothing anyone can do to change that, or some BS like that. And I would say you're naive. You don't know what's going on. Save yourself now. Your future self will thank you from all the hurt that could have been. Take some advice. And years later, I would receive messages from the same then minors who grew up to now say, hey, you were totally right. And I hear all about the hellish consequences child predation has on minors, just everything. Depression, anxiety, self-harm, confidence issues, suicidal thoughts, suicide attempts, personality disorders, problems in future relationships, alcohol abuse, drug abuse. And it's unfair that what was once thought to be no big deal later turned out in life to be such a huge problem when they finally realized that they were taken advantage of, when they can finally see the manipulation that took place. Because grooming just, by definition, is tricky. Manipulation is a mental trap that will get you to believe that there is nothing wrong. You'll be completely blinded by trust at that period of time. There are so many facets to this topic. So about prevention, always keep your guard high. It's very common for preteens or teens to be lost, confused, emotionally vulnerable, curious about sex. It's such a dangerous mix when a predator has access to you. Predators thrive on your insecurity. Don't make yourself vulnerable. Don't open up to strangers on the internet. Don't give out your personal information. Trust no one. No matter what they say, they will want to be your confidant. And don't be fooled. Don't let them in. Keep your distance. Now, if you're already talking to a predator online, this whole lingo may seem kind of weird to you because you won't see them as a predator at all. He's a good guy. Just don't be fooled. Any adult who wants to talk to kids online, asking sexual questions, it just has disaster written all over it. Run. Stop talking to this person immediately. And don't fall for their appeals of emotion or pity. They will say that they really care about you, but no man or woman who talks to a minor like that really does. It's selfish, it's perverted, it's wrong. And it can be tough to spot because while me posing as a minor online, it's taken some guys several days, if not weeks, to finally talk sexual to who they think to be a minor. Some predators are patient. They're grooming. So just keep your distance. Get away from these people and do it immediately. But don't be so quick to delete the app and delete all their messages, and just be very careful about that. And understand, it's a crime. It's a total crime for them to accost you online. A predator may try to trivialize it when they know that stuff is being broken up. A predator may trivialize it by saying like, oh, but I didn't do anything wrong, or like, no, you're just going through a phase right now. A predator will just say, oh, who cares? A predator will pretend that he doesn't care, as if it's no big deal when you say that, hey, dude, what you're doing is wrong. Or if he feels that you're cutting off communication, he senses that, just do not be fooled. The predator knows it's a huge deal. He just doesn't want to get caught. And he will use reverse psychology on you to try to make you believe that there is nothing bad at all, so that you don't report him. Do not fall for that. Preserve evidence. Save chat history, get their screen names, just log everything you know about this person so that you'll be able to retain this information when the police want it, when the police need this evidence. It just serves as greater ammunition for the prosecution when you decide to speak up. There have been so many times where I've talked to victims where they are just haunted now at what the predators have done to them years ago. But the problem is they know very little about the predator now, because they deleted the chat, they deleted the app, and they can't retain some of the information, screen names, stuff like that. So please log information. Take note of everything you can before you completely disappear from the predator's life. And please do it. Completely cut off all ties with this predator. The sooner the better. Do not be fooled. Stop talking to a predator immediately and never look back. Now let's talk about sexting. Most predators that I've talked with do not want to meet up. They want to meet up, sure, but they think it's too risky, and they would rather just try to get nudes. And they will be so nice. Seriously, some of these guys are so nice, and they act very sweet. And they'll be like this for days, weeks, or months because they want to get what they want. So before making the move, they'll be so nice. Seriously, some of these guys are just so incredibly charming. And victims may feel like they owe something that the predator wants, like a nude, and they'll be pressured, they'll be coerced to send a nude. Sometimes predators offer money or gifts, or say, hey, I'll do this if you do that, and it's just so toxic. And once you give a predator a nude, it won't stop there. He'll always want more. You give an inch, they take a mile. Just because they know that you can fall into being pressured or coerced into giving into their demands. A predator loves this type of control. They live for control. It is all about trust and control. It is manipulation. I've had victims reach out to me saying that once they've sent nudes, predator says, hey, give me more, otherwise I'm going to leak this and everyone's going to know how much of a slut you are. Seriously, things can change so quick with predators. They'll say, oh, everyone at school will see this, your parents will see this, and everyone will know that you're such a naughty little girl. Your parents will be disappointed in you, and you'll get in trouble for this, and it'll be all your fault, they will say. And this is known as sextortion, and it's very common among predators to do this. An aggressive predator will guilt trip you, and you will not see this coming. It is something you never thought he was capable of doing when you trusted him. So trust no one. You never want to underestimate how evil these people can be beneath the facade. Some predators want to meet up for sex, and they will try to make that happen. But even if you were cool with it, much like if you sent nudes, it is not your fault. You were coerced. You were taken advantage of. And here's the thing. I've had some people tell me that, oh, it was definitely my fault, because, I was glad to give him nudes or whatever. And it's completely just bizarre to think that. And it's a byproduct of them being manipulated this whole time. Just because you were okay with sending something or doing something doesn't mean it was your fault. You are a minor. You are vulnerable. Adults are expected by society not to do this. You are the one who's underdeveloped here. People's minds change. Everyone matures. Everyone gets a little smarter over time. It's like you are so young, and they are adults. They are expected to obey the laws and not fool around with minors. But criminals don't care. They really don't. Oh, I won't get caught. They really do. A lot of them really believe they won't get caught. And the theme on this channel is predators believing that as scared as they are at being busted, they still do it anyway because they think they won't get caught. They think they're so smart. We're really just turning the tables on these people and just shifting the fear around so that you can be in control. Now, I talked a lot about fear in a video I made about my favorite quotes on fear or something like that. I don't know what it's called. But the more I think about it, a lot of people say the best way to deal with fear is just to experience it fully and just execute anyway. And that takes a lot of courage. And a few weeks ago, I watched Batman Begins. And one quote I really liked from that movie was, and I didn't know this, like Batman, he is a bat because when he was a kid, He was deathly afraid of bats. That was Batman's biggest fear. But he learned that one quote that I appreciated from that movie was, "To conquer fear, you must become fear." That spoke a lot of volume to me. And that's exactly what you need to do if you've been victimized by a predator. You need to turn the tables. You need to shift the control. Because really, think about it. You have the power, not the predators. Once you've shut them down, once you've cut them out of your life, the tides have already turned. You are the fear. You have the power to put them in prison. And no one wants to go to prison, especially child predators. Most predators I deal with are so afraid. They have so much fear, I can feel it. You can see it in their eyes. Now, behind the keyboard, or in real life, they'll act like they're not afraid at all. Or that they don't care. Believe me, they really do. Don't be manipulated. Listen to me, not them. Report them. Contact your local police department. Tell someone. Or go to cybertipline.org. It's a hotline where it has the forum to where you can say who exactly this predator is and what they've done to you. The information gets passed to law enforcement. You can be anonymous if you want to, but just open yourself up. Talk to counselors at school, your parents, or friends, if they're good friends. Just really open up. Tell your parents. Now, I can tell you that some parents, the reactions are different. Some parents may freak out and say, wow, you're so dumb and stupid. But eventually it'll settle on the parents that you were completely victimized. This is 100% the predator's fault. And it really, even if parents don't care, the police will or should. And even if an agency you reported it to doesn't do anything about it, there's always another authority to contact. For instance, if your local PD isn't doing anything, if you report it to them, just go to your state government, your police. Or if it's across state lines, the FBI, I'm sure, would like to know about this. Just really open up to people about what is on your mind and what someone has done to you. But really, most parents that I've talked to are super cool about all this. For instance, I was in court one day with the father of a victim, and he said something I will never forget. He told me, talking about the predator, he said, I would just like 5 minutes with him. And that really spoke volume to me. It's just a parent's job is to love, and loving really shows some other traits. If there's someone that wants to hurt your loved one, of course you're going to react like that. So parents, by their very nature, will do everything they can to get these people behind bars. There are some feelings that you may experience. Guilt and shame. It is you. The minor you is still you, but it's a completely different state of mind. Especially if you were victimized when you were emotionally vulnerable. Predators capitalize on that, and you may feel so guilty that so many times, like, there is this misconception that it's only victimization if the minor was like so against it and was being pushed, and there are certain degrees of manipulation. But I'm telling you, even if you did not express any sort of resistance to the predator at all in what he wanted, I'm telling you, it is not your fault. I've had so many victims tell me that they felt guilty for the longest time because they were all excited about it and they were for it and they wanted this to happen. And that prevents them from speaking up. A lot of times it really does. They're so guilty. It is not your fault. You were a minor. You were underdeveloped. You were immature. You were naive. It's these adults' faults. They are the problem, not you, and don't let them or their attorneys or anyone else try to shift the blame on you, and it probably will happen. Now, a little story here. So I don't know what it feels like. I really have no idea what it feels like for me to be a victim and being blamed. But the closest thing I experienced to that was when I was 23. And it's so weird because I can only imagine if I was 13 dealing with this. It takes so much courage. Anyway, I was 23, so I'm like, okay, like, bring it on, morons, right? But I posed as an underage girl, I got a few people arrested, like 7, and one of them took it to trial, and he lost. Before they called me to testify against the predator, I was in the courtroom. I was inside this other little room beside the courtroom, and I could hear what was going on in the courtroom. It was really weird because I felt like there was so much attention to me, and that my name, I kept on hearing my name, the defense attorney saying that this is all my fault. And I thought it was so insane. I thought it was such a distraction because in the defendant's mind, the underage kid was very real. The minor existed in the mind of the adult defendant. But the predator's attorney was all trying to give off the vibe to the jury that this is completely my fault and blaming me for it all. And when you undergo so much pressure from outside forces that are trying to cover their ass, not get jail or prison, then of course you may feel shamed. But please do not let that get to you. And if it comes down to it, where you are testifying against your abuser, have your head up high and understand that this is completely not your fault, no matter what anyone else tells you. Do not especially listen to defense attorneys. It is their job to work for the predator, not you. Okay? So they will not be nice. They will seem very evil. And for me, like this defense attorney, he had been a defense attorney for longer than I've been alive. So going in, because I did a little research on him before I testified against the predator, right? You know, I did my homework. I thought, this guy's been defending criminals longer than I've been alive. Like, especially people charged with sex crimes. I thought, oh boy, okay. Don't be intimidated by some of the credentials of defense attorneys or just, it's just a BS. It's just a complete game is what it is. And just call people out on their BS. The way you are questioned, questions are designed to screw you. And always question questions. If you don't like the question the way it's posed to you, and if the prosecution doesn't object to it, just say, hey, like, this doesn't make no sense because blah, 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 and just set the record straight. And if already the jury is already thinking exactly how you're thinking with that, they know, any reasonable person would know that defense attorneys and some of the crap that comes out of their mouth is just totally designed to screw you. So don't let that distract from the truth, and let the truth be known. And don't let them try to run off with some irrelevant factor and try to make the case all about that. It's complete BS. For instance, I'll give you a quick example. The defense attorney said, Zach, are you a girl? Are you a minor girl? And I'm like, no. Like, of course not. I'm a 23-year-old man. And what the defense attorney did was he said, so you said all of these messages, and he counted them too. Like, he gave a number. He said, so you sent all of these messages under the lie that you were an underage girl. So every single message you said, and let's like 150, but it was something like that. I mean, I can't remember exactly, but he said the exact figure. He said, so 150 messages were complete lies. You lied 150 times. And then he told the jury, he said, how can we trust anything that comes out of his mouth if he's such a liar and lying all these times? And so I wanted the jury to understand that this is completely BS, right? So I told to the jury, I said, I cannot catch predators pretending to be a 23-year-old male. I have to act, not lie, but act to be someone I'm not. In this case, trying to catch predators, a 13-year-old girl or whatever. And that totally shut the defense attorney up. All the years, the so many years of him being a defense attorney longer than I've been alive, just shut him up. So you may have to deal with that whole court BS thing, but just get through it. And don't dread on it. Like, here's the thing. I dreaded this trial, but I didn't think about it too much. Like, I just woke up and I dreaded it. I was like, oh, great. But it's so traumatic for a victim to testify that a lot of them don't, and sometimes that's when people get off. So I encourage you to make a better chance of conviction. Testify against these people. It will help you, but it will be a pain. But just don't dread on it and just do it. The effects of child predation on victims is just so unreal. I've always wanted this channel to be almost like a form of therapy for victims, and that because it's pretty cool. Like, not gonna lie, it's pretty cool seeing a predator who thinks he's going to eat out a 13-year-old girl at Target. It's really cool to see him run out of Target in fear, just panting and then panicking. It's just, I love that. And I've always thought that for real victims, my videos would offer some sort of power to them by watching them, for them to be empowered and report their predators, or to know that it was not their fault, and to know that these guys are just losers. And I just want victims to realize that they are not alone. It is so, I had no idea until I started my YouTube channel how common sexual abuse against minors is. But with people reaching out, and so many people have, it's really insane. Another thing, like, here's the thing, when you meet someone, like, it's very surface, right? Even after getting to know someone for a while, it's like there are certain things about each other that we don't really talk about. Like, it's not like you meet someone and they tell you that, oh, I was victimized when I was a kid. It doesn't work. We don't do that. So you may look at that and just get the feel of that, oh, what happened to me is so rare, and like it never happens, and that you may feel kind of alone, and that you were victimized. You are not alone. Trust me on this. There are so many people who have been victimized that just choose not to talk about it. And so I think by having a discussion that this happens quite frequently, I think will really get people to report their abusers more. It's so common, but yet it goes so underreported based off of fear. And just realize that as traumatic as whatever you've experienced is, that there are still really good people out there. And don't let any predator ruin it for the rest of us. We can help each other a lot through relating to people, and people just naturally want to relate. But I understand some things in our past are difficult to talk about or to bring up. But believe me, a lot of people have gone through this. And it's always good to have deep friends. Mr. Crowley is one of them. Yeah, Mr. Crowley. My pet crow. But I understand that this is a very difficult subject to talk about, being victimized and reporting your abuser and moving on with your life. But it is something that I think is necessary to live a better mental health state and prevent these guys from doing what they did to you to someone else and further complicating the whole issue. So you can do so much. You can save someone by reporting a predator. You can totally save someone. Just one of my favorite quotes: if you're going through hell, keep going. And understand you are not alone. So do not feel broken. We're all just trying to make it. Good luck. Yeah, this video is serious. I'll do more predator videos, of course. Guys, just because I haven't created a predator video in a while doesn't mean I'm not doing it anymore, or that I quit doing it or something. You know, we're just getting started here, folks. I think one of the issues with my earlier videos is I was kind of taking my safety for granted. You know, kind of taking my safety for granted. So your boy got a CPL now. Yeah, that's right. Ready? So there will be plenty more videos for y'all, okay? All right, thank you all. And really, I wish you all the best. And yeah, t-shirts. I ran out of XXL. My next purchase order will include XXL. I haven't showed them on my YouTube channel yet, but I post about it on Instagram. If you want one, I have shirts available. Very high quality. But I'm almost out, and once I sell out, I'm going to do another purchase order, but it's going to be, the colors are going to be a little bit different. If it says out of stock, then it'll be in stock soon. So thank you all. And be careful out there. Seriously, be so careful. There are people out there who only care about themselves and not your future self. And protect your future self and protect other people, or try to, by reporting predators. Thank you.